and there's the place that I'm in. And what I realized a long time ago, which is that it's not necessarily about the paychecks and the commission checks. What I am more driven by, way more satisfied, that lights me up all day long, makes me talk around the dinner table with Sarah about accomplishments that we had. It's actually watching people have breakthroughs. It's watching people be able to grow their world, expand their perspectives. That lights me up way more than a commission check all day long. And I realized that about 20 years ago.
Welcome back, everyone, to Life at 10 Tenths, where we inspire you to live at the pinnacle of your ability and purpose. His name is Garrett Fry. He's the man. I'm Matt Benelli, and welcome to the show. If it's your first time here, we're so excited. This is a good one, actually, if this is your first episode. And for those of you who have been around long enough, you may want to share this one out. If you do love these, if you get value, that's all we ask is share these episodes out, because that's how we grow. And if you want to dive a little bit deeper in our world, download our app. It's probably one of the best ways. Download our app, gets you into our newsletter, and gets you all the info. Garrett, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, our app is where all the cool kids hang out. So, I mean, if you want to be one of the cool kids, just telling you.
Yeah.
It's an easy fix.
It is really cool.
It's an easy fix. Cool. You brought a great parable to me. And it's funny is I had heard it before. I'd forgotten about it. And you started to talk about it. And I was like, tell me it again. Because I didn't know all the pieces to it. And it was one of those. We've been doing a lot of thinking, coming out of business planning, certain books that we're reading right now. Matt and I are always reading books and devouring information. We try to read a book together at the same time. So we have stuff that we have things in common. We just try to keep things in common. And so you were talking about this parable and you're like, oh, it's the parable of the fisherman. And I was like, just what? And we're going to share this with you guys, because it tells a great story, but it also, I think, will remind everybody about what are you truly trying to build? What are you really trying to get to? What is this all about? Who are we doing this for? And sometimes we get lost in the noise and lost in the information. And Matt, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Yeah, I love this, the parable of the Mexican fisherman. And there's a few different versions out there, I'm sure. I'm not sure the original. I think I first heard it from Tim Ferriss, maybe, Garrett, in the 4-Hour Workweek, potentially.
I think it originated from a Mexican fisherman.
Yes, well, most likely.
Most likely.
But I'm going to read this version of the parable that I found, and you guys just listen into this. You probably have heard this. Maybe you haven't. If you haven't, I think you're going to be like, oh, it's going to make you think, and then we're going to talk about it. So the story goes like this. An American investment banker was at the pier of a small coastal Mexican village when a small boat with just one fisherman docked. Inside the small boat were several large yellowfin tuna. The American complimented the Mexican on the quality of his fish and asked how long did it take to catch them. The Mexican replied, only a little while. The American then asked, why didn't you just stay out a little longer and catch more fish? The Mexican said he had enough to support his family's immediate needs. The American then asked, but what do you do with the rest of your time? The Mexican fisherman said, well, I sleep late, I fish a little, play with my children, take siestas with my wife Maria, stroll into the village each evening where I sip wine, play guitar with my amigos. I have a full and busy life. The American scoffed. I am a Harvard MBA and could help you. You should spend more time fishing and with the proceeds, buy a bigger boat. With the proceeds from the bigger boat, you could buy several boats. Eventually, you would have a fleet of fishing boats. And instead of selling your catch to a middleman, you would sell directly to the processor, eventually opening your own cannery. You would control the product, the processing, and the distribution. You would need to leave this small coastal fishing village and move to Mexico City, of course, and then to LA and eventually to New York City, where you would run your expanding empire. The Mexican fisherman asked, but how long will all this take? To which the American replied, probably about 15 to 20 years. But what then? Asked the Mexican. The American laughed and said, that's the best part. When the time is right, you would announce an IPO and sell your company stock to the public and become very rich. You would make millions. Millions, said the Mexican. Then what? The American said, well, then you would retire. Move to a small coastal fishing village where you would sleep late, fish a little, play with your grandkids, take siestas with your wife, and stroll to the village in the evenings where you could sip wine and play guitar with your amigos.
Sounds like a great life.
It does, man. I love this parable. And I think some people interpret it in many different ways, Garrett. People will be like, well, oh, so it's like we don't have to go work all that hard. And it's like, or I should just be content with what I have. And no, I'm not saying, well, one, you should be content with what you have. First of all, that's the foundation of gratitude. But it's really about if you found what you love, like don't get caught in what society says you should do, right? Because that's the way I look at this is an individual who's living their life on their terms, and society comes in and says, you're not doing enough. Like you're not doing it the way that we think that you should do it. And this is the way that you should go and do it. Right. All to just come back to where you started at the end of the day.
I watch this a lot in our industry where there are people that have really good lives. I had a gentleman I was coaching here, a while back, and I coached him for many, 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 many years. And, here he is as somebody who was making upwards in the $700,000 range, not really living life the way that he wanted to, made some changes, and instantly had 11 weeks of vacation they did take in and still making about $500,000 a year. And it's very easy in our industry to have somebody go, well, why did his income drop? And sit down with him and want to figure out, well, how can we get you 11 weeks of vacation, but also keep you at your $700,000 that you were making before? Like, we got to figure this out because obviously your business is failing here. And it's like, no. Here's somebody who is this happiest that they've ever been in all their years of real estate. They've, bought a house in Spain. They're traveling all over the world and they're making $500,000 a year. And I think it's one of those things that this goes back to being self-aware. It also goes back to knowing clearly, what are you trying to do? Where are you trying to go? Because you can work and work and work and work and build and all of a sudden stand in a position in your life and go, how did I get here? I'm not happy. I'm not fulfilled. I'm doing what society said that I'm supposed to do. And where do I go from here? And the interesting thing with time is you can't get time back. You hear the parable there. And the thing that I hear when I get that is, wow, he missed his kids growing up.
Right.
And it's like, you can't get that time back. Now, are there sacrifices we make? Are there things of the life that I have on this earth, the time that I have, that he might make that decision and say, you know what, it's worth it to me. I want to be able to give that freedom and that life to my grandkids and it's not about the siesta, sleeping late and playing the guitar with the amigos and whatnot. It's actually about maybe a bigger picture for him. Know your journey though. This is where I hear that and I go, this is an opportunity for all of us to step back, be a little bit more self-aware, get very clear on where we want to go and then say, am I building a life towards that? Or am I building it towards what my managing broker thinks I should do? The other salespeople in my office think I should be, the one agent in town that everybody's like, wow, look at them. Like, we should all be like that. No, we shouldn't all be like that. Like, that's not success for everybody. And I think it's okay to acknowledge that that's not success for me potentially, because then you get to be happy with where you're at when you get to figure that out.
Yeah. Well, there's a line that the fisherman says that I think, gets overlooked a little bit. He says, I have a full and busy life, right? And once you get there and you're like full and busy, add content, whatever you want to put in that, it's like, okay, he's happy, right? The people around him are happy. And because some people will maybe interpret this, oh, I should just go hang out on the beach and go fish and, live. And maybe that is for you. It's not going to be for everybody. Some people are not going to be fulfilled with that. And so I think the question that I posed to myself in reading this parable and thinking about this parable is, Would I look at everything I have today and say, I have a full and busy life? Do I enjoy it to the level? Am I contributing to the level that I believe that I can? And that contribution level, and I think some people forget this too, is can be very individualized, right? Showing up for the people in your world, showing up for your kids, right? That is contribution. The question is are you looking at it and saying, I have a full and busy life? Because you could be like the investment banker here. And maybe the investment banker has a full and busy life too, and he's happy, right? But maybe he's not, but he's, contributing at a large scale, helping companies go, IPO and go public, and finding all private capital or whatever it is that he's doing. And maybe he's not a full and busy life. On the outside, it might look, wow, that dude's busy, but maybe it's not full. And that's the biggest question, I think, that comes out of a parable like this is your life full? Have you aligned things appropriately so that you can be on the path to whatever that fullness is, so that you can accept it today as well?
Well, and I it's funny when we're sitting here kind of going down these lines, Matt, I keep going back to one thing that, my dad taught me when I was a kid, where quality time is different than quantity time. And for me, it's like that was a building block of mine as I was getting into the business world and to starting a family and to looking at what am I creating here and where am I going? There's this one side of me that, yes, wants to be very, very, very successful, wants to build a huge coaching company, wants to do all that. There was a place in my world also when I was growing that, and we did it. We did build a huge coaching company. The interesting thing was there was always this thing in the back of my head of, I have to protect my quantity time with the people that are important to me. And I look back at when my kids were younger. I've got two 21-year-olds now and an 18-year-old. But back when they were like 7, in that 7, 12 range, roaming around in there, that was my guiding light. That was my complete self-awareness was, I have to protect the quantity time with these kids. And we traveled, we saw the world. We lived in Costa Rica for 3 months. We, spent a great amount of time in Iceland and, down in Mexico. And I look at that and go, I had people back in those times going, you could be making more money. This could be bigger. You could grow this even bigger than what it is right now. And there was those moments that I said, I need to be very clear on where I am, and I'm actually really fulfilled through this time right now. And there will be the right times to put that hammer down in a different way. And I think knowing yourself and knowing where you are, knowing what you're trying to build is really important so you can enjoy the moments that you're in. And I'm in a time right now that, Matt, you and I, we're pushing pretty hard. Yeah. Now, you're in a different stage. You've got young kids. Mm-hmm. I am not trying to figure out how am I making it to soccer practice tonight, how we're going to get to the next tournament. Am I waking up in the morning and making breakfast for my kids and sitting there with them and talking about their day? They're not here. Well, my son is, but 18, he's kind of doing his own thing. And so you start to look at this and go, there's the moments, and you go like, this is a moment where I'm going to push at that level that maybe that New York investment banker was like, do you see the opportunities here? There might be a point in that fisherman's life where he goes, right now my days are full and this is what this is. And then there might be this space of, let's grow this thing a little bit. Let's push it, but it's being true to self. And that's the thing you have to be very aware of.
Absolutely. And perspective matters too. I think what's interesting about a parable like this is you have two people with different perspectives, right? Like the investment banker clearly is like, this is good. This will be fun. Like, what a journey. Look at a build. And like, I'm kind of like, this would be cool. Let's get some fleets going. Like, imagine if you got all these ships out there and everything.
That's music to Matt. If Matt was the fisherman sitting on the boat, Matt would be going, all right. See, all right.
Yeah.
So how many boats do you think I would need?
Dock? Like, what's going to look like? I mean, and it's a perspective on what does that fulfillment mean, and what are you working for today for tomorrow while making sure we don't miss today, right? Because when I was growing up, most of the times my dad was out of the house before I was awake, and he would leave notes for me at the breakfast table and stuff like that. It did not hurt my relationship with my dad.
Yep.
You know, it was great. And he would always make sure he was at my athletic events and things like that with his camera. He was the guy always with the big camera and all that stuff. This is back in the day, for those of you who might not remember, for any of our young realtors out there, before digital cameras, there was film. Like you had to like roll it out. And so he would carry 2 cameras so he wouldn't have to miss a shot changing film. Which,
like the quick
is
draw,
awesome.
he's got like holsters, cameras.
Pretty much. It was very much like that. And that was, so there was a lot of that quality time efforts there being done too, but that also kind of helped to accumulate that quantity time. And I think the perspective of what you're looking for and what the people around you are looking for as well is important, right? When you start to get into the family side of this, it's, well, what's important to them as well, and how do we merge those things together? Garrett, I'm so grateful for our business. I was talking to Jen about this. Jen's my wife, for those of you who don't know. With like my dad being so sick right now, it's like I don't have to be in an office, and if I need to go, I'm going to be going over next week to help my mom with things. Just bring my computer with me. I work from there. I do coaching calls from there. It is such a blessing to have established that, because I was in the finance world. I was, did the investment banker, did the trading operations, did the wealth management, and it was cool too. But like when I looked at the future of the people who I loved and respected and what their jobs looked like down the road, like there were some big paychecks that were coming with that. But I was like, but they're always here. And Jen saw that in design too, with the higher up people there, like running out, racing to go get their kids from daycare before they get charged by the minute if they're late. And there's nothing wrong with that, by the way, at all. It was just like, that's not what we wanted to go for. And I have friends who have great jobs in corporate that do that, and they love it. And it's awesome because they're building great things. And so you have to understand your own perspective too. And that's what I love about parables is you can pull a lot of different things out of this. And it's a very short story, Garrett.
Well, and so like I have people like running through my mind right now, because I'm like going like, it's interesting to see people's journeys as they kind of find their path. And, for me, I had lots of people over the years going, Garrett, you should sell real estate. Like if people will say it to me all the time, they'll say, that flowed so smoothly out of your mouth, like that script, that way I'm like, I've said it, I can't tell you how many times. It's just in there, it's programmed in, it just flows out with the right tempo and the tonality and everything just flows. I get it. And they're like, you should sell real estate. And real estate offers certain gifts, and there's the place that I'm in. And what I realized a long time ago, which is that it's not necessarily about the paychecks and the commission checks. What I am more driven by, way more satisfied, that lights me up all day long, makes me talk around the dinner table with Sarah about accomplishments that we had. It's actually watching people have breakthroughs. It's watching people be able to grow their world, expand their perspectives. That lights me up way more than a commission check all day long. And I realized that about 20 years ago. And when I figured it out, it was a very easy fork in the road to go, I'm not making as much as I was making selling real estate right now, but I see this place that makes me so damn happy that I'm going to start growing in this direction and filling this out. Tommy Weber right now, Tommy, you didn't know I was going to talk about you today, but Tommy Weber is an agent in Ogden, Utah. Works for ERA. He's an amazing agent, by the way. If you listen to the last episode we just did about finding referral partners and network people around the United States, Tommy Weber should be on your list as an agent in the Utah area, northern Salt Lake City. What's really interesting is Tommy and I have been coaching for a couple years now and trying to find his path, trying to find what his real happiness is and what he has now landed on. And you can watch him light up. Like when the fisherman realizes, like, what am I really trying to build here? What I'm going to be doing, like my happiness is what I'm already doing right now.
Right back to here.
What Tommy's realized is helping agents grow. He wants to sell real estate. He wants to be in it, but it's not about him making this crazy income, just pushing him selling real estate more or pushing more closings. He's like, I want 5 agents that I want to be fostering and growing and having them come in underneath me and me build them up and help them grow, find their new perspectives, and then go off on their own. Then I'll bring another one in. And you can hear his passion around that and his love of that. And I think those are those things when you find what you really love, what really lights you up around this, that is not what society standard says about being a successful real estate agent. In the office, he may not get the awards and the plaques. Everybody goes like, oh, look at what so-and-so did. But the personal fulfillment, he understands now. He knows exactly what he's building. And yeah, he may not get that plaque. The interesting thing is I actually, when I watch people that find those passions and loves, everything rises around them. So he's probably going to have his best year in real estate he's ever had, as well as this, because he's just in alignment. And that's the place you need to be looking for. That's what you need to be finding. It's a huge part of our business plan, Matt, was helping people find that alignment of where are you really going and what is this all about?
Alignment is absolutely key. And I want to bring up this one concept because it kind of aligns with what you were talking about with you being a real estate agent. Why don't you sell real estate? And for those of you who you may have read Jim Collins's books, Good to Great is one of the great books that he's written. Then he talks about the hedgehog concept, right? And because and this is strictly for business necessarily when you look at this, because then you can expand this out into kind of like the Japanese concept, ikigai, and include a bunch more things to see like, where is this core thing that I should do? But from a hedgehog concept, Jim says that, okay, there's 3 things that you're trying to find the intersection of. What you're deeply passionate about, what you can be best in the world at, and what drives your economic engine, right? So there needs to be some sort of a metric thing to make money, right? And with what you were talking about, Garrett, it's like, okay, you could be really great at real estate, but the deep passion wasn't necessarily there as for something else and seeing other people thrive, right? Oh, but you can be really good at that too. And there's an economic engine there. So theoretically, you can end up making more money, having more impact through the meeting of those 3 things together versus if we have 2, but we're missing one, right?
Yep.
And if you focus on those 3 things, so it's, excuse me, what you're deeply passionate about, what you could be best in the world at, and what drives your economic engine, meaning like, does this thing make money? Putting those things together, you find that, and then wrap that in alignment with your life. I mean, gosh, right? Because you could say the Mexican fisherman is deeply passionate about fishing, right? Or maybe he's not. Maybe he's just fishing to feed his family. That's why he's only doing it for a little bit of the day. That's the one thing that's left out of the entire parable. He may be the best in the world at it. He has a great catch. He could make a lot of money on it. But his passion is siestas with his wife and playing guitar with his amigos. That was missing potentially from that story. And the investment banker was just focused on those 2 things. You're good at this and it can make money. Let's do it. But if we don't have the passion, man, you're going to be missing a whole lot of joy. And that's the hedgehog concept from Jim Collins. So I just wanted to throw that in there because I was like, oh, that fits with exactly what you were saying.
Wouldn't it be funny to find out all the actual behind the scenes stuff? And so he's like, you got the fisherman sitting out there just pissed off and miserable that he's fishing. And he's just like, I need to get just enough so I can get back, because where I really make my money is guitar.
Yeah.
Like
I hate this so much that I figured out how to be good at it so that I can spend the least amount of time on the water.
I've got my band actually. And what we should be talking about is a record label.
Hook me up with an agent. You mentioned LA, like agents, right? We can,
I actually need a label right now because I think I've got gold. I got gold.
It could be, right? Like the layers. It's, it's fun, Garrett. We get to do this and kind of talk about a little parable like this. A lot of times, I mean, before you and I started podcasting, I would kind of read stuff and be like, oh, that's interesting. It's fun to break it down with somebody. And so I encourage people to find little parables or things like this, get a little group together and just have some fun conversation around it and be like, well, what's kind of some perspective? Because it helps you think about things for yourself and uncover little nuggets of wisdom that you can take to apply into your business and into your daily life. So
I mean, we'll add one more layer in here is you have the investment banker, and is it really actually, is he trying to help out the fisherman, or is he trying to be a partner in a bigger thing and going like, look, I'm going to be 50-50 stakes in this big old thing that I don't have to be, I'm just the guy behind the string that's going to kind of pull the strings and make things kind of work. Like what's his intention in trying to get this thing to go this big? Is it building his world? Is he just being a nice guy going, hey, do you know what your possibilities are?
Yeah, he's like, I want to get out of the investment banking world and become an investor.
Who knows? All right.
I love it. This is great. So
I want to hear what this guy, I want a record release. That's what I'm going for. I want to be sitting there and going, who is this guy? It's like, oh, this is the Mexican fisherman.
I was just thinking yellowfin tuna. It's like delicious. Like
that should be the name of his band.
Just enjoy a fresh yellowfin tuna steak. Like if those things are coming off, he's catching those things fresh. Imagine the dinner that they're having that night while they're playing some guitar, like fried on an open flame. Ah, it's got to be so good.
It's the name of the band, Matt. Yellowfin tuna. Done.
This is amazing.
We just got to find this
guy.
Look
at what we accomplished in less than 30 minutes. We
should close the loop on this. We need to go to Mexico. We're going to find this guy. And we're going to be like, we've been hearing this parable and we realize that nobody's truly listening to you and we have a business idea.
People are like, yeah, that's a parable.
How do we know? All right. I want to say we'll wrap this one up. I appreciate everybody for hopefully having fun with us on this one. Hopefully it gave you some different perspective to kind of look at, like, we should have done this with the business planning, Matt. This parable will probably be part of your business planning if you come and join us next year as a moment just to stop and be like, what are you really building? Who are you building this for? And are you looking at it from the right perspective? I love this, Matt. And, appreciate all of you for tuning in. If you want to come check us out at Life at 10 Tenths, go grab the app. If you like this episode and you want to share it with people, you can share it easily through YouTube. Just go there. But if you're going to do it, hit the subscribe button. We've got over 500 people right now that are in that world with us. They get alerts to all the new episodes when they come out. I do shorts all the time. I grab little tidbits of things and nuggets out of the podcasts. And if you're a subscriber on there, you'll get those also. And appreciate all of you. Matt, thank you, sir.
Thank you, my friend. We'll catch you guys on the next episode.
Bye, guys.